It's now been more than a month since Universal announced they were finally coming to the European continent with a brand new theme park resort located north of London. We already talked about the announcement and what we know regarding the Universal Great Britain resort last month following said announcement, where I went through the concept art and analyzed everything to try and get an idea of what the American brand is looking to build as they enter this new market. One thing I didn't get to talk about in that video is how the market will react to this major new player popping up in the United Kingdom. More specifically, the largest and currently uncontested leader, Disneyland Paris. So in today's video, we'll look at Universal's strategy for this resort, plus the other ones they have around the world, and how Disney could respond, taking a look at the history of the Parisian parks and what they did in their other resorts around the world. We've seen how the theme park landscape changed in the last couple of decades, now being more focused on immersive worlds based on famous IPs, combining locations, characters, and stories from already well-established franchises. We've seen it happen with both Disney and Universal in the last few years, with the creation of the Wizarding World, Cars Land, Pandora, Nintendo Galaxy's Edge, and so many more. Disneyland Paris opened during a very different era, where IP was included but not in an exclusive fashion, and original stories were more important. In fact, I would say that Disneyland Park is the best theme park to immerse yourself in the golden era of Imagineering, as it has seen the least amount of changes of them all since the late 90s. While it has its strong points, it also comes with many disadvantages, especially when it's put side to side with a brand new next-generation Universal Park. So let's look at how Universal plans on breaking into Europe. Well, the resort is planned to open with a large theme park. We'll explore more of that in a minute. A dining and entertainment complex and a 500-room hotel. They do also, however, possess a lot of land that won't be used when the park opens, that could come in handy in the future as the need to expand grows. It looks like Universal did their homework on how to enter the different market that is Europe by looking at what Disney did in 1992. As you might know, Disneyland Paris came in with huge plans as their idea was to build a Disney World Europe in a matter of years, as you can see in one of my personal favorite videos. But unfortunately, they built too much outside the parks, with 6 hotels, a golf course, an entertainment, dining and shopping district, and a campground. So while the park itself was a success, everything around it was dragging it below the water. Universal, on the other hand, will be different, since they mean to build a theme park and just that one 500-room hotel and a small shopping and dining district, allowing everything to grow a lot more naturally as time passes. This basically means that the resort will have a much better shot at being a success on day one than Disneyland Paris did. However, it could also mean that if it turns out they overestimated their impact and the park isn't a success, the amount invested will be much more manageable and the path forward an easier one to walk. Universal has said that they expect that the resort will bring in a staggering 8.5 million visitors in the first year of operation. That is a very high number, considering the most attended park in the country is Legoland Windsor, that brings in around 2.5 million people a year. Around Europe, the numbers are better, but still a long way from Universal's 8.5. In fact, the most attended non-Disney theme park, which is Europa Park, brings in 6 million people, and that's with both the theme park and the water park. So how does Disney compare? Well, Disneyland Park, the #1 theme park in the continent, brought in 10.4 million guests in 2023, and Walt Disney Studios 5.7 million, combined coming in at 16.1 million guests. It's also important to see where these guests come from. Over the years, the percentage of French visitors has come down significantly, as it once was over half and now sits closer to 40%. While the official numbers haven't been made public for some years, we know that in 2015, around 15% of guests came from the UK, this being the second biggest market for the resort, followed by Spain, the Netherlands, Belgium, and more. The numbers have most definitely changed, impacted by factors such as Brexit. But still, the UK is an important source of guests coming into Paris. So how will a brand new Universal Park affect this? First of all, Universal expects that 70% of guests will come from within the United Kingdom, with only 30% flying, driving, or taking the train from somewhere else. That's nearly 6 million people. It's obvious Disney will take a big hit from their second largest market, but all other countries, including France, will also visit Universal for the new park, with 2.6 million people. The biggest punch to the gut would not be the visitor numbers, but rather the comparisons made between the now 30-year-old Disneyland park and the lackluster Disney Adventure World and the brand new, shiny Universal Studios park. Universal will once again bring Hollywood to Europe, but this time in a much larger scale never attempted anywhere in the old continent. Compare this to world premiere and the front lawn in Walt Disney Studios, and you've got yourself a big problem. The other thing is how Universal actually builds their parks. Every land has now become an immersive experience filled with shops, dining, experiences, and attractions, all there to provide visitors with the real thing. It's the new generation of IP-based lands we've talked before, something that doesn't really exist in Disneyland Paris in a large scale. Even if smaller, Frozen, Avengers, Lion King, and Ratatouille areas are reminiscent of that, you can't compare them to a Pandora, Galaxy's Edge, Cars Land, or, in this case, Jurassic World, Isle of Berk, or the Wizarding World. So while Disney is already known for these fantastic, immersive worlds somewhere else, that is still to be seen in Paris. There's one thing that's very important to mention, which is brand recognition. While many people know Universal, they don't associate it with theme parks, whereas Disney has fought hard since day one. The marketing campaigns were so successful back in 1992 that many people still call it Euro Disney, even if that name hasn't been used in the last 30 years. Universal will have to convince the European market that they're different from all other regional theme parks and much closer to what Disney offers. However, this is something that won't need to happen half as much in the UK, because the country is one of the biggest markets outside the US when it comes to the Orlando parks, where Brits spend weeks visiting Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, and others, making the UK an amazing choice for introducing the brand to this new audience. Now we can actually start to answer the question of the video. How can Disneyland Paris respond to Universal Great Britain? Well, how they can and how they will are two different things. Because I believe Disney will do as Disney does, which is to keep calm and continue their own projects in their own times. Currently, we all know about the major expansion to open next year, transforming Walt Disney Studios into Disney Adventure World. And the next phase with The Lion King, supposedly on track to open in 2029. But after that, we know nothing. I believe the whole Disney Adventure World project will be a success in not only bringing in more people to the resort, but also keep them for longer, which will give Disney the confidence they need to further invest in the Parisian parks. With The Lion King opening 2 full years before Universal, which is set to welcome in the first guests in 2031, this will give Disney a good advantage and a few novelties to showcase to the public. However, they can't stop there, because there's one major problem. The biggest moneymaker, the Disneyland park, hasn't seen an expansion since 1995, and it shows. Universal will bring some of their biggest IPs on a scale seen in their other parks around the world, and Disney is still to bring theirs. there's no immersive experiences on the same scale as Avatar, Star Wars, Cars, Moana, Encanto, Zootopia, and so many others that will truly fight hand-to-hand with Universal. But that's also a good thing, because it means they have all those ready to fight. So what can we expect? It wouldn't be a good video about the future without a bit of speculation. I strongly believe that if Frozen and Adventure World is proven to be a success when they open next year, which I'm fairly certain it will, Disney will announce a major new expansion to the Disneyland park sometime before The Lion King opens, perhaps around 2028, which would track seeing how The Lion King was announced a year before Frozen opens and coincide with D23. When it comes to the what, there's a couple of options I would say are most likely. First is the long-awaited Adventureland expansion, getting rid of Indiana Jones and completely reshaping that whole area of the park with possible IPs such as Moana and Encanto. The second option would be to utilize the Discoveryland expansion plot, finally building the Star Wars land we were promised back in 2018. Currently, Disney is seemingly testing different experiences with the franchise in the park, with the Mandalorian and Grogu meet and greet, and the new temporary character-based dining experience with the lounge Lightspeed. This that could be to test the guests' willingness to pay for experiences such as Oga's Cantina or others. I also believe that Disney Adventure World will eventually receive another expansion, this time on the right side of the lake, maybe themed around Avatar, another incredibly large IP that is nowhere to be seen in the resort. Either way, Disneyland Paris has the great advantage of existing for over 30 years, which has resulted in amazing brand recognition, the creation of loyal customers, and more. It's also much better connected to the countries around it than Universal will ever be just because of its central location. However, that doesn't mean it won't be affected, because it most certainly will. The question that is still to be answered is, will they let Universal open with no preparation and then try to keep up, or will they prepare a better hand to play once it does? Whatever the answer is, I'll be here to talk about it. And so, we come to the end of the video. What do you think Disney should do to fight back? Let me know down below. And now, as always, thank you for watching, and that's a wrap.